Hi, welcome to Teaching Moments. I'm Hillary. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a homeschool mom of 4 kids and they all have dyslexia. So my oldest child has graduated from high school already, but I've got 3 other kiddos that I'm still teaching. And with all 4 of them, I've been using the Barton curriculum to teach my children how to read and spell in a way that their dyslexic minds can understand best. So I have done a review for Barton Reading's levels 1 through 4, and I've done a review for Barton Reading levels 5 and 6. So today I'm going to do a review on Barton Reading level 7. It's been a long time in the waiting. I'm sorry for those of you who have been waiting. It's been like over a year and I should have really got it out sooner. But here it is. Here we go today. Okay, so I have had 3 kids that have completed the book 7. So we're going to go through what it talks about and give you a few tips. Okay, so when you get, so first of all, I don't know if you know, but everyone who does Barton Reading, you need to start at level 1, book 1, both tutor and student. You should start, both of you, at level 1 because you need to know what was done before these levels to build on. So if you're a tutor, you can't just jump in at book 3. You have to start at level 1 so that you understand the system of how they're working this, okay? So I'm guessing that you've gone through those levels already, or you're just wanting to take a sneak peek at what 7 teaches, okay? All right, so when you get one of these curriculums, I order them straight from Barton. And when you do that, you get like this little code, this tutor code that you can go on to their website and plug in and be able to get some extra stuff, which I'll talk about in just a minute. So that's the benefit of buying straight from them. But at the same time, you can also get some perfectly good sets that are used from people who are just honest people who've used the program with their kids. They're done, they're passing it on. I myself has sold a couple of the levels already, just am passing it on, okay? So when you get the curriculum though, what you should have in it is the teacher's book. This is the teacher's curriculum. Then you get pages that are blue and pages that are yellow. The yellow pages are for the tutor as they learn how to teach this particular level to do before you teach. And then the blue pages are for the student. These are the student pages. I put mine in a binder and I copy off any of them that they will need to write on so that I still have the original copies to sell later when my kids are all through with this. So you get those are the student pages. And you also get tiles. A bag of tiles. So this is like level 7 is doing vowel R syllables. So this is one of the tiles, the AR syllable. Notice it's yellow. For those of you who've been going through this, you know that the yellow tiles mean it's a vowel tile. So the R's kind of disrupt the sounds of the vowels. And so that's why they need a whole book on how to deal with those. So if you've noticed, I don't know if I think I've told this in some of my other videos, but I glue magnets on the back of my tiles and I put them on cookie sheets. I actually have all of the tiles out according to groups of prefixes, suffixes, vowels, and also on the different levels I'll put, because some of my kids know some of the levels and others don't. And so I try to divide up who knows what. So this is one of the trays. This is actually this has a lot of different levels on it, but this is one of my trays. And so this is how I work the tiles, just in case you were wondering. Okay, so that's what you get in here. So I talked about those extras that you can get through the Barton Reading curriculum if you buy it straight from them, or if you buy it from an approved dealer who has the code, then you can get these rules. These are the spell checker, or the spelling rules, excuse me. And you can print them out. So on the front, it'll be like car, and on the back, it'll say R is spelled A-R. This was very helpful to have these, to go through these a little bit at the beginning of each lesson is kind of how I do it, especially the ones we've just been learning. You don't even have to go through the same book. You can go through a different book so that you know your student and you are remembering what you've gone through. So those are very helpful. Another thing that I found helpful that you can get is fluency drills. If you have a student that's really needing fluency drills, these are very helpful. And so this is for books 6 and 7. But I grabbed them, printed them off. They read the drills. There's several ways to do it, but they read the drills and it really helped my boys. All 4 of my kids had done it at one point, but I just felt like the girls did pretty well, so I didn't need to do it with them as much, but I had done it with my boys, and I really felt that it helped them with their fluency. So it's a good idea to try to get those if you can. Okay, let's go back to what book 7 teaches. So they teach about the vowel R syllables. There is 11 lessons in this book. So the most amount of lessons we've seen so far has been 14, which is in book 4. There's 11 here. Let's see here. There is 1 of the prefixes and suffixes that have vowel R's. And there are 27 rules, which is some of the most amount of rules that you've had. But don't let that scare you, because even though there's a lot of spelling rules, this book is actually heavier on the reading part of it than it is on the spelling part of it. And I know that might sound a little backwards, but let me explain. So, like I just read here, R is spelled A-R. That's kind of, for the kids that are older and have been reading a little bit, they've maybe come across some of them already. Or in corn is O-R. And so some of them are also spell checker rules. I'm not fond of spell checker rules because I feel like that's not really teaching them how to spell the word. It's just teaching them how to plug it into the spell checker to figure out how to spell the word. And in our day-to-day life, we're not carrying around a spell checker like this one. Like I know that our phones will check our spelling, but it doesn't work quite the same as a spell checker does. So I still go through those. So, and I'll put a little spell check. So even when I hit this rule, I'm like going, oh, okay, well, that's a spell checker rule. So let me show you how I handle the spell checker rules. I still teach it to the kids. I just might teach it a little bit differently so that they'll have in their mind an order to go through to be able to figure out the right word. Because if they don't get it close enough on the phone, then they can't spell it correctly. So if they have a little bit of something to go by, then that's going to help them. So for example, this one, it's called Dear, Hear, Hear. And it's teaching them about the sound of ear. And so what they say on the back is look up ear as E-E-R. So that's what they want you to plug into the spell checker is E-E-R, because that one is the most common, which is why it was first. So how I just tell my kids, I let them know it's a spell checker. We go through that, sometimes to make sure they understand. But then whenever I'm just reviewing, I just say spell ear. Ear can be spelled E-E-R, E-R-E, or E-A-R. So I make sure it's in the order of the most common to the least common. So if they're sitting there texting their friends, that they can go, wait a minute, this is the ear. Okay, so E-E-R is probably the most common. And then if they do that, the spell checker in their phone should know if they're trying to spell it another way. Although here and here sounds so much alike, the spell checker on their phone probably won't flag them. But it's just a learning process. So some of these are kind of tricky because they are spell checker rules, so I don't really count those too much as rules. And then other ones in here, like for example, nature. If anybody knows why they gave this to us again, because we had it in book 6 or 4. We've had the nature rule once before, and for some reason they give it to us again. I don't know why. So that was an extra rule. They gave it to us again. And then another thing they did was the shuns. Like the shuns, we've learned all the shuns already, but they're showing you how to do it with the vowel R sounds, which is very similar to the original way to do it. So I'm not sure why they had to kind of teach it again. So that's why to me, even though there's 27 rules, it really wasn't a lot of extra stuff because some of it was almost repeat or things we've already been through or very common sense things or spell checker things that aren't really like solid rules. So Even though there's more rules, it really was more reading heavy. So my daughter, who's a good reader, she enjoyed this book better than book 6. But I thought for the other kids, this book was a little more difficult. Okay, so I hope that all made sense to you. So that is what this book is about. I will be doing one for the book 8 review as well. I guess I don't have much more on book 7. And I hope that this has helped you. Thank you so much for watching.